Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're jumping straight into a truly fascinating framework created by global leadership mentor and psychotherapist Mabel Iam. It's called the Iam method. Now, think of this not just as another self-help concept, but, well, actually it's more like a fundamental operating system upgrade for your mind. If you've ever felt like you're just hitting the exact same invisible walls over and over again, you are in the right place. In this explainer, we're going to look at how we can actually rewrite that internal code together.
So ask yourself this: are you running your life, or is your past running you? It's a pretty heavy question, right? So many of us feel completely stuck in this frustrating loop of self-sabotage, literally repeating the exact same mistakes in our relationships, our finances, our careers. Mabel Iam identifies this repetitive loop as a sort of bug in our human operating system. It's essentially a biological misfire that keeps us completely trapped in survival mode.
Okay, let's dive into this. To understand how to actually fix that bug, we have to look at her core philosophy. Your inner world directs your universe, and the answer was always you. You see, to change our external reality, our success, our peace, our relationships, we first have to radically shift our internal frequency and our identity. Because here's the secret: you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what your identity is prepared to embody.
So here is our roadmap for today. First, 1. Upgrading your operating system. Then we climb the 4 levels. 2. Level 1, the victim. 3. Level 2, the manifestor. 4. Level 3, life purpose. And finally, 5. Level 4, the integrated self. Upgrading your operating system. Escaping the automatic pilot.
You know, when we try to break bad patterns, our default is usually just to, well, try harder. But the Iam method says no, we actually need to install better code to fix our conditioned self. That's the identity formed by our family, our culture, our past wounds. It's the code that dictates what we learned we should be, rather than who we actually are. Look at the contrast here, it's absolutely crucial. On the low-frequency path, it's just this automatic, totally deregulated sequence. A stimulus happens, you interpret it through your past wounds, and boom, you react. But on the high-frequency path, conscious awareness changes everything. You observe the stimulus, you regulate your nervous system, you consciously choose your response, and then you act. It creates this literal breathing room between what happens to you and what you do about it.
To really grasp how to make this shift, Mabel Iam uses this brilliant metaphor called the horse story. Just picture a horse, and it's carrying these incredibly heavy, exhausting sacks of salt on its back. During its journey, the poor horse accidentally trips and falls right into a river. But the moment the water hits the salt, it dissolves completely. The horse steps out of the river relieved, light, and happy, no longer carrying that crushing burden. The Iam method teaches us that we are carrying the heavy salt of our conditioned past. By using gratitude as a sort of emergency brake, we can actually stop the automatic impulse to carry burdens that just don't belong to us anymore, letting them dissolve so we can finally move forward lightly.
And by shedding that past weight, we can start to build momentum and ascend through 4 fluid levels of spiritual maturity. Now think of these not as strict, rigid boxes, but as stages we move through. And yeah, sometimes we might bounce between them as our awareness expands. We're going to explore each of these step by step.
2. Level 1. The victim. The illusion of powerlessness.
The symptoms of level 1 are very specific, and honestly, we've all been here. You find yourself constantly blaming others for your problems. You project your power, your abundance, your talents onto the external world, totally believing that other people have the power to dictate your happiness. You feel completely out of control, and there is a distinct lack of personal responsibility. The Iam method actually maps out 12 key dimensions of our lives, encompassing things like our finances, our relationships, our career, and health. And at level 1, people just abandon their power across the board. They let all 12 of these areas run on a chaotic automatic pilot that's entirely fueled by fear.
If level 1 had a catchphrase, it would definitely be this: life happens to me. This mindset locks you into a really rigid victim identity. And as long as you believe that your circumstances are 100% the fault of the outside world, it becomes nearly impossible to consciously change your destiny. You are, for all intents and purposes, just sitting in the passenger seat of your own life.
3. Level 2. The manifestor. Awakening the co-creator.
But eventually the emotional pain and frustration of being a victim becomes just too intense, right? And that prompts a search for deeper answers. The most profound shift happens right here at level 2, realizing you are actually a co-creator of your reality. You start utilizing what's called heart intelligence, which simply means aligning your emotional feelings with your logical thoughts to create a highly focused state. By bringing these once-hidden patterns and internal blocks to the surface, you finally gain the conscious power to start attracting the experiences you actually desire.
The crucial takeaway here becomes this powerful realization: I am a co-creator of my reality. You are finally grabbing the reins of your life's wheel. You stop waiting for your external circumstances to magically change, and you start focusing completely on your internal evolution. You realize that to manifest things like financial stability or a truly healthy relationship, your identity has to first be prepared to embody those realities.
4. Level 3. Life Purpose. Beyond Personal Desires.
Now, once you master manifesting your personal desires, something interesting happens. You start to crave something deeper. At level 3, you discover your specific life purpose. Your focus moves away from merely satisfying the ego's material desires. You begin channeling a superior energy and really aligning with your divine essence. The I Am framework talks about finding your 3 sacred values. These are values recognized during moments of total raw authenticity, rather than ones you just adopted from societal pressures. At this level, your life is driven entirely by this much deeper internal compass.
Just notice the evolution of consciousness here. It's beautiful. You move from saying I am a co-creator to I channel higher energy for my true calling. It is the powerful transition from just manifesting material things to manifesting your absolute ultimate purpose in the world. Your actions are no longer about seeking external approval. They are about profound, rock-solid internal alignment.
5. Level 4. The integrated self. The ultimate ascension.
Welcome to the final stage. The I Am integrated self is defined as a holistic state of being. It represents the perfect, seamless union of your ego, your alter self, which is basically your adaptable, situational persona, and your higher self. Now, I really need to make this crystal clear. In this framework, the higher self is not some supernatural ghost or external entity floating above your head. Not at all. It is simply a highly practical, integrated, and elevated awareness within your own internal system. It is the capacity to observe your thoughts and emotions without being completely governed by them.
The benefits of reaching this integrated level are absolutely incredible. The illusion of separation completely disappears. You feel this profound sense of oneness with infinite creation. You live in a constant state of abundance, love, and plenitude. And practically speaking, across all 12 dimensions of your life that we mentioned earlier, you are flowing in a high frequency. You can consciously access literally whatever identity state you need for a given situation. Whether you need to be the leader, the creator, or the observer, you just access it seamlessly through self-love and intentional choice.
And this leads us to the core mantra of the integrated self. I am more than any single version of myself. Why this matters is truly profound. At this highest frequency level, you no longer have to fight your internal parts. You don't have to suppress your ego, and you definitely don't have to hide your vulnerability. You simply integrate all these different functional states into one harmonious whole. You completely cease reacting from the history of your wounds, and you begin acting entirely from the truth of your essence.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a thought-provoking challenge. What frequency is your current identity prepared to embody next? Remember, you don't need a whole new life, you need the upgraded identity capable of living it. So, are you going to stay on that chaotic autopilot, or are you ready to step up into your integrated self? The code is right there. It's time to run the upgrade.